This is Gerald, Johan van Waas. In the previous video I explained to you how certain positions that you can have as recognition positions of orientations of letters in a time and space schedule of references. These positions also have a tendency to where certain forms can be imagined. And I had it was a first introduction, but it could be and could go into much more detail considering what I could say about letters like O, E, Z and W, and therefore I will go a little bit more into detail what kind of forms at these positions can form and why they are formed that way and why we are associating even words with these letters with a certain shape, that they have a tendency to also have a certain shape, just like the letters have a certain shape. They are not just random forms as letters as well. They have an origin, they come from something and they express something, and they express something which is more profound than people would expect it to be there, but it's there. And I go very quickly from the positions that we have. If we really try to find a reference point, the first kind of reference point is of course a very stable position. So we try to follow the positions there. We have A, T and K. These are the foundations of stable positions. If these positions are a bit doubtful, we have other letters for that. This is the U, L and B, which are the doubtful places, and we follow in that place the least doubtful position. If you want to have some compromise, that we say, okay, I don't like doubtful, I just want the totality. We take the totality and then we have at least some balance, or balance of a position. Okay, it's there, sometimes a little bit more there, it's a little bit more there, but I will always compromise. I will always see that I have the elements that I take out, that they somewhat are in the same position and remain in the same position, or with the X it's at the borders a little bit. I just try to keep my order together. These are the compromising positions with X at its fully maximum, X maximum. And together we have our choice of positions, because it's still a choice, because we follow what we understand, what we can do, and so on. So these are the positions where we start from. And actually there is a tendency there that we are following actually already one of the, we follow what we understand. We follow the choices that we understand. So the D position was already going into the right. So okay, we were already following it. It was up, it was already going up, or it was already going sideways. So if we focus on that, so which direction are the positions mostly changing? I follow that direction. It's no longer an attention to the physical positions. It's an attention now to the directions, and directions are in time. When we follow these directions, you see they were already underneath. And when you see how they are formed, these forms also quite well fit to the D, Y and N underneath and the content in it. But I was not going to talk about these letters. I was going to talk about the next ones. Now we are already in the point that we have a reference with directions. These directions, it's not always so clear, these directions, but we tend to find good directions. But just if they are not so clear, then we have an uncertainty there. So how can we solve this uncertainty? And if it is a bit more certain, so what is the range of this direction? There is a solution for this uncertainty of a choice of a reference point, which I will explain next. So we start from the idea that if the direction is not clear with N, Y, and D, it's a doubtful direction. The solution for that is that now we have a range of in this doubtful direction, and this range, the best thing to do is to take this full range, and then instead of having a one-dimensional direction that we find, we have actually a range of directions, a two-dimensional direction in the horizontal plane, the vertical plane, and the diagonal plane. And there we have shapes that fit to that. Because also if you have, you have the vertical plane, for instance, with a certain range. These verticals have fit then within that range. We have a horizontal within a certain range. Okay, you see that there's also this height included, so we have this two-dimensional range, and with W and Z, it's also again this range of variations in even the variations that go more up, and the other variations go more down. That's why you have an extra letter there, of course, because when it's going down, it's going back to where we came from, and if it's going up, it's going wider, like with the W. The forms, of course, that fit to that idea will also be different. And the most easy thing to get these shapes, get that shapes in it, is with the O, it's with round forms, with the W with triangles, and with the E or A with squares. Because when you put it up and put it wider, you have a balance there within that circle, so you can have with a different height. But then, of course, you can have. When I push it higher or lower, it doesn't really matter. But I have this range within a scope of within a frame that I can keep my balance into one moment. This is the O in one. It's one moment that takes out. In E, you have more moments, so you can stretch, of course, the form, and the way to express this is with the square, in which there are the variations of frequencies, like there's sometimes a higher frequency, a lower frequency. You have variations with this E, which fit also, they fit in a way that you say there's a time frame. The time frame is the moment is up. The time frame you can follow with a certain while, of course, with the E. So you follow it during a certain range. In this range, the form is shaping itself, getting longer, and so on. In the O, it's just a moment. You have a point in space even that you can point out. That's the tendency of forms and associations that you can have simply by this position of reference, of orientation in these letters. And how does that look like with the W and the Z? I have first, before I do that, I have also some combination. I'll just take out one combination. You have the O and the E, which together in Dutch are U. In English, it's U with the U, and the U are the incomplete variations that you can put in it. You can put some variations within O, 1, 2, 3, 4. You have some variations in there, in different frequencies. Even if you say, like you have the different colors, you can associate vowel combinations like that. I'm not going too deeper in it, but it will give you an idea. If you remember this, the U filling in, which is incomplete, and you try to make it complete. The O is that range in space in which you can fill in something, if you like, with an A, with certain frequencies that have variations, and with the sound U, you can fill that in. Now, how does that look now with the W and the Z? You see already with the W, it's going away, and with the Z, it will will come back. So very easily, you have this wave which goes wider, like with the wind, and I have the Z which goes these frequencies go to inwards, and they have more like the zooming sound. Of course, they will have different sounds as well than the W. You know how they look, how you can hear them, how you can associate them with the zooming, or the wind is all associated very easily. But these forms that can be added are logical. You can have logical associations simply because of the reference points which are there. And even if we would use triangles there, here you can see that how with the W it will always getting wider. That's the association what you have, and that's the way how you have these triangles together. You almost can recognize the W there. The Z, it will get closer to each other, and you can almost recognize the Z in there. It's just an association, but that's the kind of references that you can easily get out as references, simply because of the orientations that we have with these letters. The deeper cause of not just a geometrical order, but the deeper cause why we also associate them as these letters with these kinds of orientations, that's another chapter. That's not what I'm going to talk about that. But just like we see colors in a certain frequency, we hear also sounds not in a certain frequency then, but in a certain order of logic, how they hang together, and we follow that order of logic. We are really hardly aware of these consequences of how well these hangs together, how well this also is meaningful as a field of associations. To get to know this might not be easy, because that's why I had so many different videos with also so many different explanations, different angles, and I don't want to have the same angles again and again. It doesn't work like that. It's a way of thinking, it's a way of intelligence, of perception, and of finding that reference that you need to develop also. And that's why I also give you different angles, and it's best just, I think it's good that you already understand that if it's there and I associate it there, and it is correct and it fits, it's just one aspect. It's just one aspect, and there will be more aspects, and it all hangs together. I know how it hangs together, but that's what's laying underneath that you can't explain in just one video. So sorry for that I can't do that. Anyhow, I hope this was also a good contribution to understand the letter positions better, the formation of forms that are easily associated and come easily forth from these positions, and that they are already a little bit more clear thanks to this video. Thanks again for watching. Bye-bye.